to watch. Certainly this time of year, August, is when we're really on that uptick in terms of the tropics. And a couple areas to watch in the Atlantic Basin, as we still have some stuff going on in the Pacific as well. Here's the showers and what the showers are going to end up doing, rather, with some heavy rain across parts of Florida. Unfortunately, most of the heaviest of the heavy rain on the eastern seaboard will be offshore, with the exception of parts of eastern Mass and Rhode Island. So unfortunately, you know, can't always escape the rainfall.
A couple big exceptions, right? You stick out into the Atlantic, and if you have like a highway of moisture coming up the Atlantic seaboard, right smack dab into you. So let's kind of pick it up there, Chris, because we've got this stalled out front and this pattern that's through the southeast and through Florida. We've been talking about it, but that same storm system is coming into Boston. Boston, which has had quite the summer, more 90-degree days than Atlanta, and yet it also feels like it's never going to stop raining. You've had a lot of rain this year. Flash flood watch through tomorrow morning, and we'll talk about that a bit more. But let's start out where the rain is right now, closer to the Gulf, because that's kind of the, I don't know, the genesis story of your rain for the Boston area, because we're seeing this conveyor belt that goes right up the coast, and it has to go across Florida first. So let's zoom in on Florida. Steady rains, Fort Myers to Naples. I keep combining those two names. It becomes Fort Miles and Naples, I think, Naples, whatever it is. I'm not saying it right. Eventually, hey, it's a 4-hour show. I'll get it there eventually.
Just Mark, circle it and say this area.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
This general zone of southwest Florida. I'll get there someday. It's my first day. In any case, we've got some big storms here across North Florida as well. Because it's been so persistent, we've got the chance for more flooding. Flood watches here from the Panhandle into the Big Bend area. Then the conveyor belt turns and clips the Outer Banks. Steady rains here for the Outer Banks, including Cape Hatteras, flash flood watch there. And that's not where that highway of moisture ends. Comes out of the Outer Banks, and look where it's pointed. Hello, southeast Massachusetts. It's not raining yet, but it's gonna be, and that's why you also have a flash flood watch stretching into Rhode Island as well for that potential for some flooding. I'm talking about significant rains late this afternoon through this evening, right in that small corridor, right? Most of you avoid the rain because you're far enough west. But if you're right along the coastline, Massachusetts up through coastal Maine, it will be coming down in a big way right on through, even into tomorrow, Chris. So a steady rain event on the way.
And unfortunately, we'll go, right? Because weather doesn't stick around forever.
All I hope is that it comes out of southwest Florida so I can stop saying those cities.
That's fair enough. Yeah. For better or worse, though, we know that weather is changing, and it always does. That's just the state of the atmosphere here. But as we look at a couple of spots, Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, how do these temperatures treat you right now in the upper 70s? Now, there's, you're never going to escape the humidity completely this time of year. If you do, it's pretty rare, but still quite a difference from what we've seen really the past couple of weeks. Let's take a look at some of the temperatures, what we see right now. And right now in the Twin Cities, it's hot. It's 85 degrees with some clouds and rain on the way in the northeast, some 70s. And again, we're going to see temperatures only into the lower 80s for Washington, D.C. today. These are the high temperatures. Cincinnati, 80 degrees. Nashville's going to be warm, 86. And eventually you'll get up into the mid-80s in Atlanta as well. But what we're going to see early next week is that jet stream get up a little bit farther to the north. And the pattern is going to be such that more of this moisture is going to return from the Gulf of Mexico with temperatures 5 to 15 degrees above average. And by Saturday, these are going to be the high temperatures. And these high temperatures will be running into the upper 80s and lower 90s for much of the central and eastern time zone. Sunday, guess what? It gets even hotter. August heat will return.
I've never slept like this before.
Living life to the fullest could be killing us. Almost 40% of the entire country is experiencing drought conditions. The importance of saving water has never been greater, and everyone is capable of doing something about it. To prove it, we present the Waste No Water Challenge. a head-to-head competition between our meteorologists to reduce their own personal water footprints. There are countless ways to save water, but just one gold medal. Watch how it happens daily in the month of August, only here on the Weather Channel.
Now today we're halfway through the first week of the Weather Channel's Waste No Water Challenge, and all the Weather Channel meteorologists are competing to see who can reduce their water footprint the most. And let's take a look at the bracket. We started with 18 meteorologists, including 4 newest members of the Weather Channel, facing off in 2 play-in matches, which brings us now to our final 16. Each week we'll whittle our way down until 2 of us face off for the gold medal. And while we're all fighting for the gold, of course, the real winner of the Water Challenge is the planet. Here's how some of our meteorologists plan to cut back on their water use.
Do you live in a single-bedroom apartment by yourself, alone, like me? Are you also trying to conserve water, like me? Well, look no farther. I actually have the perfect solution, and it actually involves this, your laundry. That's right. Wait until that laundry basket is full, say at the very beginning of the week or at the end of the week, and then do the laundry. And I know, you're saying, well, doesn't that sound like procrastination? Yes, it is procrastination for the sake of water conservation. So wait until this hamper is full and then throw it in the laundry. Shh, do not tell my competitors. You guys are going down. I'm gonna win this thing.
A super easy way to conserve water is taking a bucket, or all I had was this big bowl, putting it in your shower while the water heats up, or even while you're showering, you can just leave it in there, and then you can use this for things like washing your dishes, giving water to your plants, or even flushing your toilet. And by the way, while you're showering, just keep filling up more and more buckets, and then you'll have a bunch to use.
And both of those, of course, great ideas. I like how, one, of course, takes some more effort. Stephanie, of course, and she's a go-getter.
Yeah.
No mistake in there, right? And so you can go a little extra mile to help save the water. Or, as Stephen was saying, do less.
Yeah.
Right?
I like
and eventually do more, but procrastinate.
Kind of, Stephanie's reminded me of something that I do. I wasn't even thinking about it, but when, like, the dog's water bowls get a little old and you're ready, I throw them into the plants, right? I water the plants with the old water. So instead of like just throwing it down the drain, it's going into something that needs the water anyway.
Exactly. Or someone didn't finish a glass of water and you don't know whose water it was, it goes in a plant.
Exactly.
Same deal. I'm with you.
Yeah. Just like Stephanie collecting that water before it's ready from the shower.
Right, and of course, we can't do this alone. We're going to need your help as well. If you have any ideas as well, we love the creativity. Any ideas on how to cut back on water, we want to hear it from you. Please share your tips, and we'd love to see your videos as well. Keep the challenge going by tagging your friends and loved ones as well with the hashtag #WasteNoWaterChallenge. Mark?
And of course, the need to save water is more and more apparent, especially across the western United States, where the drought and the fire threat continues to be all-encompassing. This is such a bad fire year and water year so far. Active wildfires, now 90 of them across the U.S. Those are active large fires. All of these are greater than 100 acres, about 1,800,000 acres burning right now across the West. And you can use the modeling to show us where the smoke has been over the past 24 hours, using the satellite to kind of get through the clouds and see where the poor air quality has been. A lot of fires in the Pacific Northwest. Some of that is leaking its way all the way to the Great Lakes, Southern Plains. Some of that's actually from Canada and dropping down across the center of the country as well. So we can blame some of the poor air quality in the Dallas area from fires in the Pacific Northwest and Southern Canada. These are, we're all connected here. Saving water is important for everyone, even if you don't live where there is an active fire threat. We have a fire danger today into tomorrow across the Pacific Northwest. Mixture of fire weather watches and red flag warnings, Chris. So that risk is still quite high across the Pacific Northwest.
And part of the reason why that fire risk is so high is just so dry. I mean, the ingredients is pretty obvious, right? Dry conditions, heat, windy conditions, and if there's a spark, there is a huge problem. I want to show you this huge drought right now. This is an impressive for all the wrong reasons here. Just a look at California. It tells you that almost the entire state of the Golden State here is in red, and it's the deep, dark red. Extreme and exceptional drought are the highest categories of drought. There has been a little bit of relief, not a whole lot, but a little bit of relief across some areas, and it's mainly in parts of Texas and across portions of New Mexico as well. Rain is going to be returning, but the water vapor does show that there's a lot of dry air with the moisture really just reserved over here to the eastern part of the west, if you will. And with that, still more heat under the dry conditions as well, and some serious heat as well in the deserts. Of course, it is the hot time of year, and living up to it in Las Vegas and Phoenix, well into the triple digits. Phoenix 114 today.
Currently in our area, 74 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, partly cloudy this morning, then becoming cloudy during the afternoon. Slight chance of a rain shower, high 74. Tonight, cloudy with periods of rain, low 64. Chance of rain, 80%. Rainfall possibly over 1 inch. Thursday, rain showers early with overcast skies later in the day, high 77. Chance of rain, 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Next time on Jade Fever.
Have you ever used bear spray?
For the mosquitoes.
Oh no! Jay is not prepared for what camp life is. But the boys will teach him.
I think you should have spent more time at the gym before you showed up.
The more it hurts, the deeper your breaths.
Unbelievable. Not a whole lot of production, that's for sure.
Why?
Don't pray for rain, don't pray for cool days, pray for the moment.
All right, about a trip to Montana. Unfortunately, a bit smoky and a bit hazy here, as we're still seeing a lot of wildfires burning throughout parts of the west. And by tomorrow, there will be a chance for some thunderstorms as well. So there is the possibility for some of the stronger storms across parts of the western U.S. And oftentimes when we look at what's going to be driving the severe weather, we go up into the atmosphere to see what's sort of stirring things up, stirring the pot a little bit, if you will. We'll take a look at the water vapor imagery, and this shows us a really obvious area of low pressure. So this is the water vapor. So this is detecting the moisture in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. So when you put into motion all the different images from the satellite, you can see where that spin is, and it's really obvious right here in the northern part of western Washington, going right into eastern Washington, right along the Canadian border. And this, as you can even see out ahead of it, can help kick up some showers and storms, and even over here as well, seeing some of that action. So with that, as that low does continue to march across the Canadian border into Montana, we're going to see an increasing threat for showers and for thunderstorms here. And right now, some thunderstorms of the northernmost portion of Idaho right now, and a few showers starting to move in just outside of Flathead Lake there in Montana. And with the heat that we're dealing with right now from central Washington, the lower Columbia Basin, and North Idaho, it just helps make the atmosphere that much more unstable. So when it's really hot, and if you get some of that colder air, which the low is going to do above, the difference is going to be a lot greater. So that air is more likely to rise if we stir the pot, and that's exactly what's going to be happening here. So some thunderstorms possible east of the Cascades and west of the Cascades. It's going to be pretty hot as well, even into the Rogue Valley. Medford at 100 degrees, 92 in Portland today, and mid-80s in Seattle. Montana also will see many locations into the 90s, and Boise will even be into the triple digits. Tomorrow, in some of that heat in central Oregon and the high desert over into much of mountainous Idaho and even portions of the Treasure Valley, there will be the possibility for some of the storms to turn severe. So while you don't get thunderstorms out all the time in the Northwest, they certainly can happen, especially this time of year in this kind of heat. And on Friday, also going to be seeing going into the Dakotas, so the chance for some thunderstorms as well, Mark. Thunderstorms again, if they're going to happen in the Northwest, this is really the time of year where you're going to have the best chance for seeing them.
Absolutely. This is also the time of year that we often see the tropics start to bubble up. Everyone getting early August is like, is there going to be a tropic season? When's it going to happen? And let me just, caution everyone and tell you, that's normal.
Right.
Right? It's more rare to have a whole bunch of named storms
like
in
we've had the past couple of years.
Correct.
Right?
And so we're in a little lull, but again, that is very normal for this time of year. Instead, we now have a couple of circles on the map here across the tropical Atlantic, and that's a sign that in the next couple of weeks, things are going to change. You're going to get some storms. In early August, you can get storms all the way up against Africa, certainly into the central Atlantic or the homegrown storms. This fills in even more, however, by late August for sure. And so we've got a little bit of a spin here in the central Atlantic, 20% chance of development within the next 5 days, but it's 0 chance in the short term. We're going to have to wait for this one. It's not going to develop where it is. It could develop where it's going to, which is as it approaches the Lesser Antilles. And right on its heels will be the next wave. Now, this circle is really for this tropical wave that's now coming across Africa. It's got a lot of action with it, right? 30% chance of development. Again, that's not in the next 2 days. It'll take almost a day and a half for this to get all the way off the coast. What this is for the next 5 days when we see this elongated threat zone. That development could happen anywhere within that yellow waffle in that 5-day period. Basically equal chances, but it does give you a little flavor that this is going to continue on that westward track over the next 5 days. After that point, let's look at the spin. Again, we've got this area of spin and then one that's still just coming off the coastline. The first one comes towards the islands. It doesn't really show a lot of organization, but the second one in the list does. And so we got to watch that spin carefully as it walks its way across the main development region, eventually coming towards the islands. Far too early to say if that turn north will happen exactly as this model sees it now.